Project with me, Tammy Trujillo. Saturdays, 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern, right here on CRN Digital Talk Radio.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back here to the PM show. Weekend edition with the one and only Nancy, actually the ones and only Nancy and Larry Manetti. A little bit later on, we'll hear from Will Link. The great Rosemarie is our guest, and you're hearing the Hollywood Squares theme song. Once again, here's Larry Manetti.
Rosemarie.
Yeah.
It's Larry.
Hi.
Hi. Let's talk about you and Hollywood Squares and Peter Marshall.
Well, I was with that show for 14 years.
Wow.
And Peter Marshall, well, I knew Peter before, but we're very close friends. And we've been friends for a long, long time. But that show was an awful lot of fun with the different people on it every week. And we had a ball.
And you used to be on there with Maury Amsterdam, too, right?
Well, Maury Amsterdam, I got Maury the job on the Dick Van Dyke Show.
Really? How did that happen?
Well, I was the first one called. Sheldon Leonard said to Carl Reiner, he says, if you want the best, get Rosemarie. So they called me, and I went down. I didn't even read or anything. I had the part. And I said, who have you got for the third writer? And they said, they haven't picked him yet. And I said, what about Maury Amsterdam? He used to be a writer. He's a comedy writer. He's a comic. Everybody knows him in the business. I said, he knows a million jokes. So they said, he sounds great. Where can we reach him? So I gave him Maury's phone number in New York, and they called, and I called him, and I said, they're going to call you for a new show called the Dick Van Dyke Show. And he said, what's a Dick Van Dyke? I said, I don't know. That's what I said. So I said, they're going to call you anyway. So he called me back, and he said, I'll be there Monday, because he lived in Yonkers. So he came out, and he got the part.
That's a great story.
You know, what? How was that at that time? Because we all know what a great star Dick Van Dyke is, but nobody really knew who he was, who Mary Tyler Moore was. They knew you and Maury Amsterdam and Carl Reiner, but what was that like at the very beginning? Did you guys know it was going to be a great show? Did you get along really well with Dick Van Dyke?
Everybody got along. We were like a family, and we still are very friendly with who's ever left. Maury passed away, and Jerry Paris, our director, passed away, but we're still very close, and especially me with Dick. I see Dick and Carl almost all the time at different affairs and stuff, and we're very close.
We just saw him last week, and he announced that he got married.
Can't hear you.
What was that? Who got married?
Dick Van Dyke announced he got married.
Yeah, did Dick Van Dyke recently get married?
What?
Dick Van Dyke got married.
Oh, yeah, I knew that.
Yeah, that's terrific.
It's wonderful. He needs somebody to be with. He's a very lonely man and loves the people. So I'm very happy that he got married again.
And what about Carl Reiner? He had a birthday here this week, didn't he?
Carl is wonderful. Carl is busy all the time, and he's been getting a lot of awards out here from the academies because that show has been voted as the best show of all time on television.
Wow.
Ernest Borgnine says hello, and he loves you.
Huh?
Ernest Borgnine says hello.
Larry's good friends with Ernest Borgnine, and he said to make sure and say hello to you, Rosemarie.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Now, what was that like? You also were on Murphy Brown. What was that like working on that show?
Which show?
Murphy Brown.
Well, I knew her father very, very well. In fact, he was Edgar Bergen, and he was in vaudeville, and I knew him from vaudeville. And she and I got along just great when I told her that I knew her father, and we worked together. So I did that show about 3 or 4 times.
That's a good show and a great show. What was it like working in vaudeville? Because a lot of us never got to see vaudeville. What was it like in those days?
It was as far as I was concerned, it was just doing what I always did. I sang and enjoyed myself. I loved every minute of it. And everybody in the show, wherever I worked, were wonderful to me. They taught me how to juggle. They taught me how to work a trapeze. They taught me a lot of things. I learned an awful lot in vaudeville.
Well, we've learned a lot, and we love you, Rosemary. Thanks so much for being with us on the show. You are absolutely fabulous. You're an American icon, and thanks for being with us on the show.
Thank you.
Bye, Rosemary.
Bye.
Ladies and gentlemen, the great Rosemary. So many things. Starting her career at age 3, being on the Dick Van Dyke Show. She was on My Sister Eileen before that, on the old Doris Day Show, Hollywood Squares, Murphy Brown. She was also on Wings. She is something else. Recently, she was in Caroline in the City. She keeps going and going and going. She's like the Energizer Bunny.
That's
how
right.
great she is. All right, we're going to take a quick break, come back. We're going to find out what's going on in the movies. Will Link is standing by. It's the PM show with the lovely Nancy Manetti and the handsome Larry Manetti on CRN Digital Talk Radio. I'm the neighbor, Mike Horn.